Well, hello, folks, and welcome to another episode of Boomer Deepcuts. Welcome back to our Performance Podcast studios. I know it's been a little bit, and last time when we had the Chuck Straw on, we said, well, it's been a little bit, and we're going to get you back in here again soon. We had some more things to work out. We've, I think, ironed out most of the kinks, and now we're ready to rock and give you more of your favorite music from the 60s and 70s, some backstories behind that, with some of your favorite hosts from the Boomer Radio Network. I'm Grant Hansen. I'm your host here with Performance Podcasts, and sitting to my right is a guy that you haven't heard from since maybe January, a guy who has been on the mend, on the injured list, and is back with us. And he's been here in Omaha quite a bit recently with a particular launch of another particular station that he's got a heavy hand in. But of course, you know him as Neil at Night. Hello, Neil.
Hello, Grant. Thanks for the invitation. Glad to be here, man.
Well, okay, last time we did sort of a folky type of album with Johnny Rivers. Mm-hmm. More country, probably, I would say, than folk, but there was a folk influence there.
Well, at the time, that was pure pop. Back at the time.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Well, yes, that's true. Well, he had come from country, and then into that album, that was pop. That's right. But today we are going to do some full folk yet again. First time that we've done that since we had Otis 12 on, and we did an episode on Nashville Skyline, the Bob Dylan album. So if you haven't seen that, please go check that out. By the way, if you ever want to interact with us, email us at deepcuts@myboomerradio.com. That's deepcuts@myboomerradio.com. We'll flash that email for you a little bit throughout the show on the screen. And, of course, a big thank you to our sponsor, Kohl's RX and Kohl's Pharmacy and Home Care. Again, when it comes to making your home a safer place to be, whether it's a grab bar, maybe it's redoing your bathroom and making that better so you can feel more comfortable and safe where you live right now, those are the folks to get in contact with, in addition to the rest of your pharmaceutical needs, and you've been trusting them on that for a very, very long time. So, without further ado, why don't you tell us what we're talking about today, Neil?
Harry Chapin, literally one of the great troubadours of folk and contemporary music back in the 70s. You got to remember back then there was a big movement in singer-songwriters, artists that were producing their own music, writing their own songs. And Harry Chapin was maybe part of the vanguard in that movement. Did a lot of great songs, a lot of great LPs, had a number of hits, which was unusual for the folkies at the time. They weren't so much interested in radio hits as they were in getting their point across. Harry did both and had a number of radio hits. This album, Verities and Balderdash, is my favorite of the Harry Chapin albums. I think he did 4, maybe 5 LPs. This was his 4th. And wrote everything on there. The hits, of course, were big. The stuff that weren't big hit records, I thought were better songs, but that's just me.
Well, there's Cats in the Cradle, and of all of his songs that have lasted and continued to impact generations beyond just 1974 when this album came out, that has had the longest lasting impact. But which is part of why we do the show, by the way, I was really impressed with some of the other songs that we'll hear today that are not Cats in the Cradle, that maybe are not played as much on the radio or thought of as much in sort of the pop culture of today, that are incredible songs. He is such a great lyricist.
And storyteller. Well, I don't know what order you've got these in, but my favorite on the album is one of his more sensitive compositions. I play it on my show on Boomer Radio at night. Okay. I don't think you'll hear anybody else play it anywhere in the country, but it's called She Sings a Song Without Words.
Let's hear that one. I think it's the third one, Cam. We'll see if producer Cam can dig it up. Oh, 4th. Here we go.
I was thrown on the cobblestones, tossed at her feet. My fool's mouth was filled with the dust from the street. An out-of-work court jester with nowhere to go, and no need to speak, for she seemed to know. She sings her songs without words, songs that sailors and blind men and beggars have heard. She knows more of love than the poets can say, and her eyes are for something that won't go away.
just that slow guitar.
He knows how to paint a picture.
Yes.
And that is one of the things about Harry Chapin's lyrics is that he knows how to paint a picture. He's writing about a woman who can express her feelings, influence the reaction from a man without using words. Mm-hmm. And she sings the song without words and gets the job done.
Well, and you have, he belongs in this class, this like 70s class of folk singers, I feel like, Jim Croce, who also died young. You think of, oh gosh, why can't I think of James Taylor? I mean, there's just, but apart from Cats in the Cradle, I don't know if there's a lot of people that know about some of his music today, and hopefully you're being introduced if you're listening to this, or if you got a younger member of your family you're showing this to, or whatever, that can hear some of these other songs for the first time. Because again, there's another that one isn't my favorite. There's a couple of the other ones that are deep cuts that are my favorites from this album. But you're right. Like, he does such a great job of painting the picture, much like you see almost here with the album cover, which is uber creative as well.
Well painted picture. With Harry Chapin, Cats in the Cradle was just one example. On his other albums, you had things like WOLD. Also had, now of course it's not there. I can't find it. Anyway, he had 3 or 4 big, Taxi is the one I'm
Taxi,
thinking of.
there you go.
And that's played seldom on the radio because it's so long. But on this album, which was certified gold in 1974, it sold minimum 500,000 copies. On the FM stations back then that were playing what we called underground music, this got a lot of play, sold a lot of records. Another one that is a famous one is I Want to Learn a Love Song. This is actually a song that Harry wrote about how he met his wife, Sandra.
We'll talk more about some of the details on this one.
Mm-hmm.
This one, I think, is maybe my favorite song of the cuts that we're going to play today. I really love this one. And talk about painting a picture well with words. He does it phenomenally here.
I come fresh from the street, fast on my feet, kind of lean and lazy. Not much meat on my bones and a whole lot alone and more than a little bit crazy. The old 6-string was all I had to keep my belly still. And for each full hour lesson I gave, I got a crisp $10 bill. She was married for 7 years to a concrete castle king. She said she wanted to learn to play the guitar and to hear her children sing. So I'd show up about once a week in my faded tan laid jeans, with a backlog full of hobo stories and dilapidated dreams. She said, I want to learn a love song full of happy things. She said, I want to learn a love song. Won't you let me hear you sing?
Again, it's a biographical record.
Oh, yeah.
And, excuse me, the premise is she is taking music lessons. She's a married housewife taking music lessons from this guy. But really what she wants to do is get with him and have him sing to her. And some of the songs were a little bit overt. Toward the end of this one, he actually implies that he and the woman had sex while he's teaching her to play a guitar and how to write a love song.
And it's so crazy because it's true. I mean, there's some things that are different. Like I believe her husband, Sandy, her husband was actually a lawyer. And actually, his life experience with his father provides some level of influence and impact to Cats in the Cradle later on, which is funny because at that point she was married to him.
Right.
But they wrote songs together.
Yes, they did.
And she was a huge part. Like, I was struck by it again and again of almost all of these songs. She had a hand in working through with him, at least on this album.
Well, he always said that she was the greatest poet he ever met. And she wasn't a published poet per se, but she knew how to write songs and how to take Harry's stories and help him translate them.
And I was struck by the line of all I had was this 6-string guitar to keep my belly still, and with each lesson that I gave, I received a crisp $10 bill. I mean, there's so many. Again, Like so many great words that paint the picture and then simultaneously fit the music that's layered with it.
Well, I think everybody can relate to the starving artist concept, and that's what he's talking about there. But yeah, the way he portrays it, he puts you into the song, into the lyric, and I recommend listening to this album numerous times. The first time through, you're going to miss a lot. I also recommend listening to it with headphones and turned all the way up.
Like we are right now. This song, this is my favorite for sure, I think. And I had never heard it before, but I was like, oh, well, there's two things that struck me. One, I love this song. Two, this sounds like something that Neil would play at night.
I do. Another one, Harry also did social commentary. He was big in a number of areas, particularly in world hunger. He was very active in the hunger issue. But he was also a social commentary guy and wrote about things that we consider to be maybe class distinction between one person or another or one family and another. And I think it's really exemplified in his song, What Made America Famous.
Yes.
Where he's talking about what really matters, what the values should be as opposed to what our values really are. And what made America famous is not necessarily what a lot of people would consider the main things to make America famous.
Let's take a listen to that one.
Now they were the folks that made America famous. Our local fire department stocked with short-haired volunteers. And then Saturday night, while America boozes, the fire department showed dirty movies. The lawyer and the grocer seeing their dreams come to life on the movie screen, while the plumber hopes that it won't be seen as he tries to hide his fears, and he wipes away his tears. But something's burning somewhere. Does anybody care?
I ask that question again and again throughout, but then you get to hear a little bit more here.
Yeah.
That made America famous. The kind of kids that long since drove our parents to despair.
Which is interesting because I think you guys, I mean, the boomers certainly relate to that line.
The kind of kids that drove our parents to despair. Oh, boy.
But I think everybody does.
Yeah, that's part of a teenager's job.
Yeah. But, I mean, is that song, plays out. You get to hear, a man, girlfriend, kids live in a rundown home, and then there's a house fire that starts. They need rescue. That, of course, it's continually asked, does anybody care? Throughout that whole song, and then it ends with the firefighters waiting to respond to let them sweat a little. I believe that's the actual line in there.
Is.
And the plumber ends up, that we hear about just in the beginning there, trying to hide his fears and wipe away his tears at the drive-in movie or at the movie. Plumber ends up saving everybody.
The regular guy.
And they spend the night in the plumber's home, and that's kind of the whole point, right? The heroes are the regular people.
Absolutely. Not the lawyers and the engineers and the politicians, especially the politicians.
Yeah.
Harry was not above a little bit of sarcasm and comedy. True story that people were aware of at the time. Scranton, Pennsylvania.
Oh.
A truck coming from Newark, New Jersey to deliver a load of bananas, 30,000 pounds of bananas in this semi. And there's a hill out of Pennsylvania where it goes downhill into Scranton. Mm-hmm. The driver loses his brakes, can't stop the semi. He's going 90 miles an hour down this hill into Scranton, Pennsylvania, carrying 90,000 pounds of bananas. You can only imagine where this ended up.
Well, I can tell you, a lot of these songs that we've picked today are pretty sensitive and get to deeper feelings. This one is on the complete opposite end of the spectrum, although it is about a pretty significant, somebody dies. I mean, it's a tragedy,
story.
But it's certainly not treated that way. 30,000 pounds of bananas.
It was just after dark when the truck started down the hill that leads into Scranton, Pennsylvania, carrying 30,000 pounds of bananas, carrying 30,000 pounds, hitting Big John of bananas.
Who's Big John? I'm asking that all the time.
He was a young driver, just out on his second job. and he was carrying the next day's pasty fruits for everyone in that cold scarred city where children play without despair in backyard slag piles, and folks manage to eat each day about 30,000 pounds of banana.
Paints the landscape behind it.
Oh, yeah.
And at the end of the song, the pace picks up dramatically as this truck is going 90 miles an hour into Scranton, Pennsylvania with 30,000 pounds of bananas.
And, you know, it's a trip. Like, the end of this song is so weird and off the wall crazy and
true.
And true. And, you know, it's actually funny. This is maybe the one song. Sandy does not like this song because she gave interviews later. She was like, man.
Sandy, his wife.
That song morphed, had a life of its own.
Mm-hmm.
Originally, it was a poem that Harry Chapin wrote. It was just words on the page. And then early on in his career, he was doing different kinds of musical performances with his father and also his brothers who were part of the group. And, well, eventually he found this material and said, well, why don't we just try to put some music to it?
Who writes about this? I mean, like maybe a Arlo Guthrie type of composition?
The bananas have to get somewhere at some point. Somebody has to deliver these bananas. And it is a funny picture of a truck full of bananas going anywhere.
But 90 miles an hour downhill with no brakes.
But they have to get somewhere at some point, at some time. Clearly, these people eat 30,000 pounds of bananas.
Well, the end of the story is, of course, the highway is covered with mashed bananas.
Yes.
Mashed bananas.
What a well, the death is the tragedy,
Yes.
but the bananas as well.
But that's the things he sings about, and that's what Verities and Balderdash is all about. When you think about Verities, the word Verities implies truth in Latin. Balderdash implies stupid silliness in English, and this album has both.
Well, now let's play probably the most famous song on the album, and a song that has impacted generations of fathers and sons since 1974 when Verities and Balderdash came out. It's Cats in the Cradle.
Child arrived just the other day. He came to the world in the usual way, but there were planes to catch and bills to pay. He learned to walk while I was away, and he was talking for I knew it. And as he grew, he'd say, I'm gonna be like you, Dad. You know I'm gonna be like you. And the cat's in the cradle and the silver spoon, little boy blue and the man on the moon. When you're coming home, Dad, I don't know when, but we'll get together then. You know we'll have a good time then.
So this one based on a poem that his wife Sandy wrote. And again, some of this has to do with Sandy's first husband that we heard about in I Want to Learn a Love Song.
Same guy.
Who was a lawyer. His dad was trying to get him to go to the social club for basically a career in politics. Their relationship was strained. And you know, it's a message, obviously, to don't be a workaholic, right? And live in the moments that you have while you have them with the people that are around you that you care about the most.
And the other message is the way you treat your kids will sometimes work out to be the way your kids treat you
right
in your old age.
Yeah, and of course, you know, as you know, he flip it around later on, and he at the end he ends up left alone as well. This song has been used in so many different things, different shows: Always Sunny in Philadelphia, The Office, The Goldbergs, How I Met Your Mother, Scrubs, That 70s Show, among others. I still think one of my favorites is The Simpsons, and it has appeared several times in a bunch of different Simpsons episodes, but there's a particular episode called Saturdays of Thunder, and Homer, who realizes he's been a lax father to Bart, breaks down in tears when it's used as the holding music while you're waiting on the phone for the neglectful father helpline. So, man,
if you're not
this is such a
familiar
great
with
song.
Harry Chapin, there are, like I say, there are 4 albums, and they're all pretty good. This is one you can use to learn who he was, what he did, and how impactful he was, because I'm sure people that were not alive in 74 have never heard these songs, are not familiar with the album. I know it's still available. You can get it online. Excuse me. Well worth your time because there's some tremendous stuff. Back in those days, a lot of singer-songwriters were storytellers. And you look at, Stephen Stills. You look at Eric Clapton.
Yeah.
A lot of these guys were all the same and the same type of thing. But Harry was so introspective. And again, I keep coming back to the same thing. Look at this cover. He painted pictures.
Mm-hmm.
And he got emotional. And he drew in the person listening to these records. And he drew them in personally. You could identify with them all. And he just said so many important things in so many different ways.
Of course, Cats in the Cradle ends up finishing as his highest charting single, number 38 on the year-end charts. I Want to Learn a Love Song, we heard earlier, that was number 44 at its peak. And the album finished 48th on the U.S. end-of-year charts in 74, peaked at number 4 on the Billboard 200.
And Harry wasn't just a songwriter-singer. He did a lot of things for world hunger. He got a Presidential Gold Medal for his work for world hunger. He was on committees and organizations around the world. Unfortunately, he lost his life at a young age in a car accident on Long Island where he was driving and a semi-truck came up behind him, slammed into him, car caught fire. Harry was killed.
It's right there up there with the plane crash that killed Jim Croce. I mean, a similar
and Rick
level
Nelson
of
and
talent.
Patsy Cline and how many others?
Yeah.
Leonard Skinner.
Just in terms of how the song is consumed, or rather this album is consumed today. So this album on Spotify, 225 million streams of the songs that are on this album, but 215 million of the 225 are Cats in the Cradle. Next is I Want to Learn a Love Song, about 4 million there. 30,000 pounds of bananas, about 1.5 million. So with that being said, not a lot of folks know about some of these other songs that we played today. And if you enjoyed them, go ahead and share it with somebody that you think maybe hasn't heard it, because I think there's a lot of room to give these songs new life once again.
Invite someone special over some night. Turn the lights down low. Put this on the stereo. Do they still say stereo? Put this on the stereo with headphones. Drink a little wine and just drift off into the world, the magical world of Harry Chapin.
So August of 74 is when this album came out. A lot of things happened in August of 74. One particularly very important and significant thing happened in August of 74, among other things. We'll get to that one. August 3rd, Jeff Baxter quits Steely Dan and joins the Doobie Brothers.
Skunk?
On August 5th, Joan Jett forms the Runaways. So two big musical things right off the bat. But that same day, Richard Nixon admits he withheld information about the Watergate break-in. 3 days later, on August 8th, he announces he'll resign at 12 p.m. on the 9th.
Remember
and on
that
the 9th,
vividly.
Gerald Ford becomes president. And
our long national nightmare is over. That was the quote.
Yeah. Well, what was it like for you? I mean, you were in Nebraska about this time, right?
The Nixon resignation and whether the pardon was going to go through, and Gerald Ford, of course, an Omaha native, born in Omaha. It was so chaotic, and you had real problems because we didn't have the kind of wall-to-wall, total immersive coverage that we have today with the internet and the various social medias. We had the 3 television networks, the 3 radio networks, and the news came out little by little. Of course, the resignation was live, carried live. You didn't really believe what you were seeing. It was the first time that had ever happened. There were constitutional questions that arose, and nobody really knew the answers to them. Let's wait and see what happens. Jerry Ford, who was a congressman from Michigan, then became the vice president, was never elected to anything. He became vice president and became president and was never elected to anything other than his congressional seat. So it was a lot of precedent setting in terms of national politics, but that's not what this show's about.
So, 12th, forgive me, I did not work that hard, work hard enough, rather, to get the pronunciation here. But Mickey Mantle and Whitey, is it Whitey Ford? Mm-hmm. Oh, gosh, yes, I got it right.
Whitey Ford.
Mickey Mantle, Whitey Ford become first teammates inducted into the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame on the same day. August 14th, Congress authorizes U.S. citizens to own gold. I did not know that you could not own gold before August 14th of 1974.
No, President Roosevelt banned the private ownership of gold back in the 30s as a way to kind of get the economy stimulated out of the Depression. And required everybody to turn in their gold. You weren't allowed to own gold.
And then did you rush to the bank and get gold on August 14th?
No, I was pretty destitute back in those days.
August 20th, Nolan Ryan, he had a pitch that was measured at a record at that time, 100.4 miles per hour, had 19 strikeouts earlier in that same month.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, now 100 miles an hour. I mean, it's still,
But it's
pretty
average.
shocking. But there's a lot of guys that are pumping like 98, 99 and reaching 101.
Even in the College World Series.
And then lastly, there's a lot of things that happened this month regarding, there's still sort of Cold War stuff going on. U.S. and Russia both conducted nuclear tests during this month of August of 1974.
How'd that work out for us?
Yeah. Well, nobody got nuked, so that's good. Top songs. There's a lot of top songs this month, like one new one every week, so I've got a lot here. Annie's Song, John Denver. Feel Like Making Love, Roberta Flack. The Night Chicago Died, Paper Lace. And then You're Having My Baby.
Paul Anka.
And Odia Coates
Paul
combined on
Anka.
that one.
And he's still going. Paul Anka started in 1956, and he's still going. Canadian guy.
Yeah. Top album, Back Home Again, John Denver for the first half of the month. And then 461 Ocean Boulevard and our formerly mentioned Eric Clapton.
Yes.
Lastly, top films, 4 different ones, one for each week. For Pete's Sake, Return of the Dragon, That's Entertainment, and Chinatown were the top 4 movies that month and each week of August of 74.
Interesting time. I remember it vividly, I think.
Well, Verities and Balderdash, Eric Clapton, 1974 from Elektra Records.
Harry Chapin.
Sorry, Harry Chapin. Eric Clapton's on the brain. It says right there, Harry Chapin. My bad. Anyway, folks, thanks again, Neil. Glad to see you back on your feet.
Thank you, yeah.
And a real fun discussion. Great to hear some of this music. I've got some new songs to listen to, which is always fun for me. Again, if you ever want to reach out to us, just email us, deepcuts@myboomerradio.com. And go ahead and thank our folks at Kohl's. They're a huge part of what is accomplished here at Boomer Radio. And, of course, the title sponsor for our podcast as well. For Neil Nelkin, I'm Grant Hansen. Until next time, so long, and enjoy these sounds of an era and stories of a lifetime.